Maayong adlaw everybody. Welcome back to our CSE PPT tutorial session. Learn with me, Arnel. I'll be discussing to you the continuation of the last topic we discussed. So for a while, I'm going to share to you my screen. Let's go. I think, yeah, this is the sample problem number 5. We ended here. So let's proceed to sample problem number 6. We have here a problem saying a 25% discount. Mrs. Brosas paid 150.75 for a bag. What was the original price of the bag? Meant to say, Mrs. Brosas paid 150.75. That's the discounted payment. What's the discount given? 25%. So meaning, we have here the discount is equal to 25%. What is meant by discount again? Do not count. So my question would be, what is being counted? What is being counted? The other side. 25%, it has to be 75%. Because 25% is discounted, the discount, don't have to count it. So in reverse, what shall we count? The 75%. Alright, so meaning to say, itong counted, that's the amount she paid, which is given in the problem. This is equal to 150.75. Correct? So now, we are asked of the original price. So the thing is, we just have to add this one. 25% plus 75%, the 100%. Mean to say no discounts. So that's the original price. So our aim for now, our challenge rather, is to get the value of the 25%. Then we're gonna get, if we get this, what is that? If we can get the value of the 25%, we are going to add, then we get the 100%. You follow? Right. So now, my question is, how many 25% are there in 75%? There are 3, correct? Meaning to say, there are 3 25% in 75. All we need to do is 25 times 3 will give us 75%. So meaning to say, we have this unknown value, we're gonna multiply that to 3, will give us 75%. So, hindi man siya given, we're gonna get the reverse. What's the reverse or the opposite of multiplication? Division. 150.75 divided by 3 will give us the value. So, when we divide decimal numbers, it's quite not really hard, but it takes time. So all we need to do in this case is think practically. What if you have 150 pesos and 75 cents, and then you're gonna divide it to 3 people? So for 150 alone, you have 50 pesos each, right? And for the 75 cents, so you have 25 cents. So meaning you have 50.25 pesos. So that's for the discount, right? So meaning to say, we have the discount 50.25 plus the 150.75 pesos, the amount that you paid. So 150 plus 150, you get 200, and then 0.25 and 0.7, that's 1 peso. So plus 1, we get 201 pesos as our original amount, original price of the pad. You get it? So you have to take note of the word discount. Mean to say it doesn't have to be counted. 20% off. Diba? So you have to take note of that. And then for us to save time, let's solve using the value the other way around, the other side. No, so when it says 25%, so discount mean to say the amount that has been counted is only 75%. If discount is 40%, so the amount counted is 60%, right? I hope it's clear. If you have questions, then do not think twice to comment. Let's proceed. Right. We have here another problem. A man invested 100,000. Let's say you are the man. You invested 100,000 pesos. You put part of it in a bank at 5% interest. Do you know how much it is it? It only says there you put part. We have no idea. But we know that there is a certain part that you put in the bank at 5% interest. You can assign that to X. You have an X amount of money you invested in a bank at 5% interest. On the other hand, the remaining, you invested the remainder in bonds with 9% yearly return. How much did you put in the bank if your yearly income from the two investments was 7,400? This is your yearly income. What does it mean, yearly income? Mean to say, that's the income you gained from investing your money to a certain bank and in bonds. So meaning to say that is the interest, right? Because that's the income. You don't have to include the 100,000 that you invested. It's just the income. Meaning to say, we have a certain value invested in a bank. Do you have an idea how much is it? How much is it? No, right? But how about the remainder you put in the bonds? You have 100,000 in total, right? That's the amount you have. You said that you are investing a certain value of that in a bank at 5% interest. So meant to say you have an X amount of money, or I'm gonna put it here. You have an X amount of money that you put at 5, I'm sorry, at 5%, at 5% in a bank. So what's the income? That is the interest. So let's review. The formula for interest is I PERT. PERT. No? I PERT. So that's P, R, and T. P is the principal amount, the amount you invested. The R there is the rate, the percentage, how many percent you put it in the bank, and T is the time. Usually its reference is 1 year. So we have our principal amount is how much? We have no idea. X. What about the rate? So we have here our X, our P. Our rate is 5%, so that is 0.05. And time is 1 year. It's not being mentioned for specifically if it's invested in how many months or years. So rule of thumb, we're gonna use 1 year. Anyway, on the other side, the remaining money is in yearly month, no? So let's assume that. Now, what about the remainder? How much is the remainder? Do we have any idea about the remaining amount of money invested in bonds with 9%? We don't have an exact amount, but we know for a fact that we have 100,000 pesos, right? Then we less X amount invested in a bank. So meaning to say, this is our remaining, right? So we have therefore 100,000 minus kung magkano yung ininvest mo sa bank. Kasi yan yung remainder. This is invested at 9%. So meaning, in bonds yan, yearly return. So we have, this is our I1, interest 1, interest 2. Per, okay, remember that. Is equal to, how much is the principal amount? This is the principal amount. 100 minus X times the rate is 0.09, or we can just actually write it 990 per 9 per 100, but it's okay. Times 1. So take note that based on the problem, your yearly income from the two investments, so meaning that is I1 plus I2 is equal to 7,400. Right? That's gonna be our guide. We are asked how much did we put in the bank. And to say, we are asked of the value of X. Right? So let's proceed by simplifying our equation. This is going to be 0.05x. And how about this one? 100,000, we're gonna distribute that. Diba? So that 100,000 times 0.09. So that is, you move 1, 2 decimal places, and you move to the left 1, 2. So that's 9 times 1,000, that's 9,000. Then negative X times 0.09, so that's 0.09x times 1, so it's the same. So we have now this one, our I1, and we have this as our I2. So let's get the summation of the two, I1 and I2. So our I1 is 0.05x plus our I2 is 9,000 minus 0.09x is equal to 7,400. Now let's combine like terms, or let's say, yeah, let's combine like terms. 0.05, okay, if I were to decide, I'm gonna retain 9,000 here, minus 7,400. I bring 7,400 from right side of the equation to the left, so it becomes negative. And then the 0.09, negative 0.09 becomes positive 0.09x here, and the 0.05x becomes negative 0.05x. So 9,000 minus 7,400, that is 1,600. 0.09 minus 0.05, that's 0.04x. So what are we gonna do so that we can get the value of X? Divide both sides by 0.04, divide by 0.04. So therefore, our X is equal to 1,600 divided by 0.04. So you count 1, 2 to the right, and then to the left, reverse 1, 2. So 16 divided by 4, it's 4. Right? So how much did you put in the bank? So it's, we get 4, right? Now let's see. 1,600 over 0.04. So that's 4%, right? So okay, let's divide it na lang. That's 0.04. So I'm sorry, it doesn't have to be the opposite. Like if we move 1, 2, 1, 2, then we move 1, 2. We add 2 zeros. Then 16 divided by 4 is equal to 4. Then we have 4 zeros. So 40,000 is our answer. Okay? So I hope you follow. From here, medyo na ano lang ako dito, may konting ano. But here we're correct. It's not 4 here. It is 40,000 because we're gonna move 2 places to the right. So we have to move also 2 places to the right there. So add 2 zeros. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So 40,000 is our answer. Okay? I hope you find it easy. If you have questions, again, just comment. Now let's have another problem. We have here, a man accepts a position at 10,000 pesos basic salary with an agreement that he will receive a 10% increase every year for 3 years. What will his salary be at the end of 3 years? Okay. So imagine it's you. You have a job. Your salary now is 10,000 pesos. But you are being told that for 3 years consecutive, you will receive 10% increase every year. Okay? So now, so we have now, and then we have after 1 year, after 2 years, then after 3 years. Now your salary is 10,000. Now what will your salary be after 1 year? It says 10% increase. So what is 100% of 10,000? 10,000, di ba? 100%. 100% is equal to 100%. This is 1. So again, what is 100% of 10,000? 10,000. So there's no way that you will have a salary of 10,000 after a year because it says you have a 10% increase. So meaning 100% plus 10%, that is 110%, which is equal to 110%. So now, we're gonna multiply this by 110%. We cancel 1 0, we cancel 1 here. We cancel another 0 here, we cancel another 0 there. So now, we have 1,000 times 11, you have 11,000 after a year. So, X na to. Mali na siya. Kasi 11,000 siya. Then, remember, the question is at the end of 3 years. So, mali na to. Kasi ito, after a year pa yan. So now, after 2 years, what is going to be your salary? So again, you will have another 10% increase from this. This is now our reference, 11,000. So meaning, we're gonna multiply this by, again, 110%. We cancel 1 0, we cancel 1 0, we cancel 1 0, we cancel another 0. So we are left with 1,100 times 11. Okay? So 1 times 1,100, 1,100, then 1 times 1,100, 1,100. 0, 0, 1, 2, 12,100. So meaning after 2 years, you get 12,100 salary per month. So now, may makakancel ba tayong iba dyan? Yeah, perhaps this one. Yeah, although it's not very exact, but we can assume. Well, we still have to multiply another 110% for the 3rd year. So we cancel 1 0, we cancel 1 0, cancel another 1. So we are left with 1210 times 11. So 1 times 1,210. So you have 1,210, then 1,210. We have 0, 1, 3, 3, 1. So 13,310. So our answer is number 3. So you see, we did not use any decimal. It's easier than converting percent to decimal. Although there are times that you have to use the decimal, but in this case, you can use just the 100%, the idea of 100 per 100. Okay, so I hope you get it. Let's proceed. Oh, this one is quite challenging. I would say this is mediocre or difficult. If you can get this right, then you are ahead of your competitors. If the radius of the circle is decreased by 20%, then its area is decreased by what percent? So I hope you are familiar with radius already. Otherwise, you cannot solve this problem. Okay? So let me briefly discuss it to you. Say we have here a circle. Imagine that's a perfect circle. We have here the center. Now you divide that. We have this one, the longest chord. This is a chord. That is what we call diameter. Right? Where's our center? Center here. Center. Now, the chord that cuts across the circle is the diameter. And the diameter is composed of radii. Radius. We have here the radius, another radius here. Mean to say the radius is from the center to any point on the circle. We also have this one. That's another radius. Radius, just until there. Radius. So those are the radii. So radius is half of the diameter. It's from the center of the circle to any point on the circle. I hope it's clear. So now, do we have numbers here? Do we have the value of the radius? We don't have. But we can assign a value for the radius. Say we have our original radius. I represented it with a capital or caps lock R, because that's the original. Say I would assign 100. Now, it is decreased by 20%. Again, decrease, that's just the same as discounted, less off. Diba? So decreased by 20%. If 20% is decreased, what is left? From 100%, because it's always 100% as our reference. So if the radius of the circle is decreased by 20%, so meaning kinuhaan ng 20%, so what is left? 80%. So if it's 100 and then we get 20%, so now our new radius is 80. Kaya maliit na yung R, diba? So it's just a representation. So what happens to our area? What should be our area if we take the value of the original radius, which is 100 in this case, based on our assumption, the assigning of value? Another challenge would be if you don't know the formula for the area of a circle. Diba? First, you should know the radius, and now the formula of the circle. What's the formula for the area of a circle? Area of the circle is equal to pi r squared. Pi times the square of the radius. Right? Okay. So, we have to get our area. What is our area when our radius is the original 100? So area of dako nga circle is equal to pi r squared, which is equal to pi, our radius is 100 squared, is equal to 100 squared, 10,000 pi. Okay, so we can multiply the value of pi, which is, what's the value of pi anyway? Our pi is equal to approximately 3.14. Sometimes other books are using 3.1416, no, for closer value of the result. But you have to know that pi, it doesn't end. Mean to say, I forgot the exact term, but it's the value of that. It will take your lifetime to write the value of that. Very, very, if you're gonna use your calculator, it's very lengthy, no? 3.141, it's not 6, no? It's being rounded off here for the sake of discussion, for the sake of operations. But sometimes 3.14 will do. But in this case, we're not gonna multiply the value of our pi. Just write it as it is. Okay, so how about the area of the small circle? Because when the radius is being reduced, the circle becomes smaller also. So now we have our pi r squared, which is equal to the small radius. The radius of the small circle is 80 squared, which is equal to 80 times 80. 8 times 8 is 64. You add two zeros, then you get the pi. Diba? So now we can just cancel the pi. Diba? When we are going to compare things, you have pi, I have pi, then let's cancel it. Diba? We're even. So now, what's the difference between the two? You have the original area, which is 10,000. And then here comes after the reduction of 20%, you get 6,400. So what is left? What's the difference? 10,000 minus 6,400, we have 3,600. That's the difference. So meaning, that is the amount of the area that is taken out, that is decreased, diba? Then its area is decreased by what percent? So, meaning ito yung nawala after reduction of 20%. So, how much is this with respect to the original area? So that is 3,600 out of the original area is 10,000. Now you cancel 1 0, cancel 1 0, another 0, another 0. Now you read that. 36 per 100. Again, that is 36 per 100. 36 per cent. So that's our answer. All right, so let's proceed. I think we have the last number. And I think this one is quite tricky. If I want you to solve it, I want you to solve this. If you can get the correct answer, or even if you can get the wrong answer, it's okay. You just comment down the answer. I'm gonna check on it, and then I'm gonna solve this and share to you the solution, right? So that's all for now. Again, I want you to be participative. I want you to solve this, and then put your answer in the comment section, right? And I'm gonna really get back to you by saying to you what is the correct answer. And then perhaps I'm gonna show you the solution. That's all for now, gentlemen and ladies. Thank you. Learn with me, learn with Arnel next session. Thank you and bye-bye.